This story first appeared in NPR's Student Podcast Challenge newsletter. Sign up here. Aria Young didn't become Aria Young until she was 16 years old. She was moving to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, from her home in Shanghai for high school. Her Chinese name, or Yáng Qìn Yuè, was too hard for the English tongue to pronounce, Young explains in What's in a Name, her entry for NPR's College Podcast Challenge. Judges selected Young's audio story as the grand prize winner from 10 finalists. In the podcast, Young, now a sophomore at New York University, tries to coach her English-speaking friends through pronouncing her Chinese name correctly. It doesn't go well. Imagine doing that on the first day of school in front of a classroom of people, or at a party correcting every person you meet because they just can't get it right, Young says in her podcast. She knew it would be easier to make a home for herself in the U.S. if people could say her name. Taking an English name is not an uncommon practice among Asian international students. As one of Young's old high school teachers explains in the podcast, the international students from Spain and the students from Italy kept their names. The students from Asia did not keep their names. There might have been maybe one student in the 5 years I was there who kept their Chinese name. Everybody had an American name. After hours looking through lists of baby names, Young settled on Aria because it reflected her hopes for her new life in the United States. It's a musical term. An aria is like a song, she tells NPR. It's almost like my new life is going to be melodic. But changing her name didn't necessarily mean she fit in at her new Catholic high school in the middle of Pennsylvania Dutch country. Being Asian was not really accepted or appreciated, she explains. Young says she and other Asian international students faced microaggressions and racism at their new school. People would come up to us and ask us if we eat dogs, she recalls. People would come up to me and ask questions about, what's it like being Asian? As if they've never seen an Asian person before. Still, she was determined to belong, and a big part of that meant assimilating into American culture. I rejected my name. Rejected Yáng Qìn Yuè. Rejected my Asianness, because I felt like that was all I was, Young says in her podcast. "4 years into her life in the U.S., Young has realized she wants more balance between the two halves of herself, Yáng Qìn Yuè from Shanghai and Aria of New York City.